operation that removed the pond dikes in Timur-Sloko is one of the villages in our study area in the Demak district. You can see there is no dikes anymore, and for the boundary of the belonging of the ponds, they only use nets, yeah, surrounding the used to be the dikes. And then on the picture below, it shows that the pond that have dikes, but during the tide, especially the king tide, which is happened almost every year, all the ponds are flooded. You can see if the pond are flooded like this, so the cultivated organisms will be escaped, and the result, the farmers couldn't harvest their cultivations. These are the old concept of silvofishery. The mangroves are planted on the dikes or in the ponds bed, so there is no coastal protection in the old concept of silvofishery. And ecologically, it is also not good for the pond sustainability. In the matter of pond management, the old concept of silvofishery can limit the water quality management, and also the dikes become narrow. Therefore, the pond management like drying and other works for managing the pond are become disturbed. Also, the pond drying become not optimal because there are mangroves in the pond or on the pond bed. The pond productivity also reduced because the increased shading of the pond, of the mangrove leaves on the pond, and this resulted in the stunted growth of natural food, such as phytoplankton, which is very important as the natural feeding for the cultivated organism. And also, because of the shading, the water temperature also drops. And this, if 1 digit, 2 digit temperature drop, can reduce the growth of the cultivated organism. And moreover, the fallen mangrove leaves contain tannins. And when it is decomposed, it needs oxygen. And the oxygen taken from the water pond, which is also used for respirations of the cultivated organism. And the oxygen is depleted, so the decomposition of tannins of the mangrove leaves cannot be finalized, and it's become ammonia nitrogen, which is also toxic. So with the mangroves in the pond or along the pond dikes can create problem because of the decomposition of the fallen mangrove leaves that can become a toxic substance such as ammonia and tannin, and also reducing the oxygen dissolved in the water. Yes, the silvofishery can produce timber for their living, but do not provide any ecosystem services. There is no sediment catching. It's become then coastal erosion. No coastal erosion protection because sediments can just easily moved away by the waves of by the current during the high tide or during the abrasion processes. And there is no breeding or nursing, and the feeding ground of the marine larvae and other seafood. As you know, the mangrove ecosystems is actually the nursery ground and the feeding ground of the important marine larva species. So when there is no mangrove along no ecosystem mangrove on the coast, the feeding ground and the nursery ground also not available. The extensive pond, as I mentioned, in Demak districts, mostly is belong to the traditional pond farmers, traditional and extensive. And most pond in that area are shallow, only 40 to 50 centimeters depth. Then, as I mentioned before, because the water is very shallow, so where there is shading, the water become, the temperature of the water decrease, and it can stunt the natural food growth. This is the old concept of silver fishery, and the mangroves are planted on the pond dikes or in the pond bed. There is no protection for the pond dikes. As you see here, during the abrasion, during the high tide or during the high wave, yeah, the dikes just removed by the abrasions, and now there is no more ponds because the ponds become the open water. Contribute to the problem solving. This is associated mangrove aquaculture are introduced to the farmers in the study area in Demak. The associated mangrove aquaculture protect the river embankment, the river embankment, and gradually improve the water quality in the pond. In associated mangrove aquaculture, mangroves are planted or grown along the coastal line or on the internet in the tidal zone. It's about 100 to 200 meters from lowest low tide to the land. And mangrove also grown or planted along the river bank about 15 to 20 meters from the river embankment to the land. In Indonesia, there is a rule about the green belt. This is government rule number 51, year 2016, about beach boundaries. This is should be like that. This we provide protection for the coastal line, coastal zone. There is only mangrove there for about 100 to 200 meters from the lowest low tidal to the land. So it can provide a good ecosystem for the larvae of the marine species, because it becomes the nursery ground and the feeding ground for the fish larvae. And with this mangrove along the coastal line and along the river embankment, it gives protection not only for the coastal line, but also for the dikes of the ponds. So with the AMA, not only protecting the beaches and the river embankment, it is also improved the environmental quality. In terms of pond management, the AMA can protect the pond dikes and thus reduce the cost of the operational for the dikes maintenance. And the pond management, like drying the pond, can be done optimally because there is no mangroves on the dikes. And as a result, there is a water quality improvement of the pond. And finally, the harvest or the yield of the pond farmers also increase. From ecosystem point of view, the AMA as a green belt provides nursery and feeding grounds for the economic important marine larvae, as I mentioned previously. And the leaves, fruits, and the fruits can be processed for food, for example, like Avicennia species, Bulgaria, etc. And the mangrove leaves can also be used for making compost, which later will be mentioned by Resiana for the LESA. So the mangrove leaves can be used to make compost for the fertilizers in the pond. Used to be the pond farmers, they're using water hyacinth for making compost. But actually, it is not good because the water hyacinths can absorb pollutants such as heavy metals that may affect the growth of the cultivated organism. So we suggest the pond farmers to use mangrove leaves, which is more nutritious than the water hyacinths. And also the mangrove roots that hanging in the water, it is absorb the pollutants. So the water that pass through the mangrove ecosystem become very clear and very high in quality, high in nutrient content, and can make the pond become fertilized. In AMA concept, the pond dikes become narrower because part of the dikes is used for growing or for planting the mangroves. But on the other hand, the pond productivity increased due to the water quality improvement. As you see in the picture here the product of the AMA pond with the milkfish mostly, they can grow milkfish from the 2 centimeters length, around 5 gram in weight. In 4 months, it can become size 5, 4 to 5. It means that in 1 kilogram contain 4 to 5 milkfish. So it's around 300 to 250 gram per milkfish. Used to be the farmers there only harvest very small size and a longer period of cultivations. And also the pond farmer, the extensive traditional pond farmers in the study area in Demak used to be only cultured milkfish because of the conditions of the pond. But after AMA, they could grow or culture shrimp. In this case, we suggest them to culture monodon or tiger shrimp, which is more valuable and also more delicious. And this is the harvest of the monodon. They can harvest monodon or tiger shrimp at size of 15 to 25 per kilo in only 4 months cultivation. These are the mangroves that are suggested to be grown or cultured in the coastal area or in the green belt. This is grown naturally as PWN concept. We have to grow the mangrove naturally. But if it is impossible to grow naturally, we could plant it. This is in the study area in Gojoyo village, in the district of Demak. The Avicennia grow naturally, and it's cover almost 1 hectare of the tambaks, of the ponds. But the pond farmers who own these ponds are happy, because even though his ponds is reduced because of the mangroves, but beyond this area, beyond the mangrove, his ponds is become so fertile, and he could harvest more shrimp and also more fish. And also he could harvest direct catch as a wild shrimp and wild fish. This is all the mangrove that are suggested to be grown or planted in the green belt. This is Avicennia, Heriteria, Solneratia. Why this is chosen? Why they are chosen? Because their leaf decompose more quickly, so the decomposition rate are more faster, and the tannin content also very low. And moreover, their roots are able to trap the sediment. So this is why they are chosen. And the shrimp, as I mentioned before, of the farmers who belongs to that area, grow faster because the availability of the natural feed, which is fertilized by the leaves of these mangroves. As a conclusion of my presentation, the AMA great improvement of mangrove restorations. Now people become aware that mangrove can be restored by just planting or natural growing of the mangrove in that area, in the coastal area, as I mentioned, about 100 to 100 meters from the lowest low tide up to the land. So after mangrove restoration are available, then the coastal become protected and no more abrasions, and the pond farmers are happy because the cost of the for the dike management is reduced, or even almost there is no cost for dikes management or preparations. And also the water quality of their pond become very good, and then they can harvest more milkfish and also more shrimps with bigger size at the same times of cultivations. And for the mangrove restoration itself, it also provides a good catch for the artisanal fishermen as well as for the pond farmers that catch more wild shrimp and wild fish that enter their gate in the pond. For the artisanal fishermen, the mangrove restoration also improve their catch, because the artisanal fishermen is only used very low technique for fishing. Usually they only put the trap on the coastal area at night, and in the morning, then they open the trap net and they get more catch than before. That's the benefit after having AMA. And we studied it for almost 3 years. And the result we can see now that the farmers in the mud, the pond farmers in the mud, get more catch, get more harvest, and more good income. Thank you very much for your attention. And this you can see the AMA pond. is the farmers spread or stock the cocoa, and the cocoa here is safe to be eaten because it is surrounded by mangrove. It is the coastal area in the side, and the pollutant already absorbed, and the seashell, the cockles are safe to be eaten. And this the protected coastal area, so no more current or no more abrasion in the ponds because it's already protected by the mangroves. Thank you very much and see you maybe next time. And before that, you can see our video that will be presented. Thank you.
Umumnya, tambak di pinggir sungai atau laut mempunyai tanggul dengan lebar yang sempit dan langsung terhubung dengan badan air tanpa proteksi apapun, sehingga rawan terhadap banjirop dan terjangan gelombang. Tambak ilfo fisheries, konsep yang telah lama diterapkan, menumbuhkan mangrove di dalam tambak ataupun ditanam di sekeliling tambak. Cara ini membuat tambak tidak dapat berproduksi dengan baik akibat menurunnya kualitas air dikarenakan mangrove yang terlalu rimbun tanpa perawatan. Prinsip tambak dengan sistem AMA adalah memperlebar tanggul yang berbatasan dengan sungai atau laut sebagai sarana untuk menumbuhkan mangrove sebagai greenbelt atau sabuk hijau. Tambak dengan lebar kurang dari 30 meter dari tepian aliran sungai, maka disarankan seluruh tambak menjadi sabuk hijau. Apabila tambak dengan lebar lebih dari 30 meter, maka disarankan membangun greenbelt selebar 10 meter. Pertama, adalah dengan memundurkan tanggul tambak dengan cara membuat tanggul baru selebar 2 meter di belakang tanggul lama dengan membiarkan sedimen yang terbawa air pasang surut terbentuk secara alami di antara kedua tanggul tersebut. Dengan cara seperti ini, biasanya mangrove akan tumbuh pula seiring dengan terbentuknya sedimen. Setelah mangrove tumbuh baik, maka tanggul berikutnya bisa dibuat lagi sampai lebar tanggul yang kuat terbentuk dengan memadai. Cara lain adalah dengan memperlebar tanggul dengan menambahkan material pada tanggul dari hasil keduk teplok tanah dasar tambak. Cara ini lebih cepat hasilnya dibanding cara pertama, akan tetapi memerlukan biaya lebih banyak untuk membayar tenaga kerja dan penguatan konstruksi. Selain memperlebar tanggul, pintu air juga dibuat terpisah antara air yang masuk tambak dan yang keluar ke sungai. Bisa juga ditambahkan petak tandon untuk mengendapkan air sebelum dan sesudah digunakan di tambak. Pada petak tandon bisa digunakan untuk memelihara laut, kerang, ataupun nila salin. Dengan sistem seperti ini, air yang masuk ke dalam tambak lebih bersih. Demikian juga yang keluar tidak mencemari lingkungan. Konsep AMA ini akan berhasil dengan baik apabila dilakukan secara bersama-sama seluruh petani yang mempunyai tambak di sepanjang sungai atau laut. Proteksi terhadap banjirop dan terjangan ombak akan lebih kuat apabila sepanjang sungai atau laut telah terbentuk sabuk hijau oleh mangrove.
Thank you, Professor Sri Rejeki. Dear participants, as a reminder that you can drop your questions in the Q&A box by using this format: name, underscore your institution, underscore question to underscore your question. And you can do that while the presentation is ongoing. Now let me invite our next speaker, Ibu Restiana Wisnu Aryati, MSc. She is the lecturer at Aquaculture Department, Faculty of Fisheries and Marine Sciences, Diponegoro University Semarang, Central Java, Indonesia. Her area of expertise is in coastal and marine culture, especially seaweed and blue swimming crab. She has training experience and several courses at Twente University and Wageningen University in the Netherlands. She is currently pursuing his doctoral studies at Diponegoro University with the theme Sustainable crab cultivation as an alternative organism that composes integrated multi-tropic aquaculture, or we call that EMTA or INTA. Some of her experience are in 2016 until 2019. She is directly involved in the project to design aquaculture to support mangrove restoration in Indonesia, PASMI, in collaboration with Wageningen University, funded by the NWO Wotro Institutes of Sciences, the Netherlands. In 2017 until 2019, she is the team member of the Monitoring Aquaculture Field Schools and associated Mangroves Aquaculture teams, collaborating with Project Building with Nature Indonesia, funded by EcoShape, the Netherlands. So, dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, Ibu Restiana Wisnu Arianti, Magister of Science. Topic is low internal input sustainable aquaculture, LASA, that will be delivered or explained in 45 minutes. Ibu Restiana Wisnu Arianti, Magister Science, the time is yours.
Thank you, Miss Elizabeth Sudira. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening for all participants that attend this webinar. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I would like to thank you for all the participants that already attending this webinar on ecological technologies for sustainable aquaculture. I would like to quickly introduce myself that I am Restiana Wisnu. You can call me Resti, and I am a junior lecturer from Aquaculture Department, Faculty of Fisheries and Marine Science. I am interested in the brackish and marine aquaculture production system, especially for seaweed and blue swimming crab. Let me sharing my screen. Do you see my slide already or not yet?
Yes, we can see your slide, Miss.
Okay, thank you. Before I start that, I want to ask you about the LASA, Low External Input Sustainable Agriculture. Do you have ever heard before about this system or this approach? This system usually previously successfully applied in farming, but now we try to apply this technology for economically friendly aquaculture. The principle of LESA are optimizing existing local resource by combining various components and maximizing recycling and reducing environmental damage. Based on this principle, we try to minimizing external input by reducing the using of artificial feed or pesticide or unorganic fertilizer, as well as antibiotics. And then we try to recovering ecosystem condition by using the organic fertilizer such as compost or liquid compost, that in this process we try to get beneficial from the decomposting bacteria that can promote to recover ecosystem. After the ecosystem already recovered, we hope the pond production will increase, and then the farmers can get more income from their yield. The implementation LESA concept in the aquaculture sector. First, we always suggest to the farmers that have to practice the good aquaculture. They should prepare or maintain the ponds before the culturing period. Then we also give school or training to the farmer to using organic fertilizer and fermented liquid fertilizer. For organic fertilizer, we teach how to make compost from wild plant and manure. And for organic liquid fertilizer, we using the household waste such as fruit and veggies to make a mold or micro local organism. We try to apply the 3R, which are reduce, reuse, and recycle from the source around the aquaculture. This aim is to stimulate the recycling of organic waste in ponds, and then maintain the pond ecosystem by balancing the composition of beneficial decomposing organism, and then low production costs due to use of locally available natural resources. For the good aquaculture practices, farmers suggest to drying the pond if possible. I said it if possible because the pond's condition in our location is flooding ponds because of the land subsidence and also from the abrasion. But we can still using that pond, although the ponds cannot be drying. Then after the pond already dried, we remove the top layer of sediment to discharge of the bed sediments from the previous production of aquaculture. And After that, we use fertilization using organic fertilizer. We can give lime if needed when the soil of when the pH soil is less than 6, and we also need to use saponin or organic pesticide if necessary to clean the pest. One more, the fertilizer is done after the liming process. In this approach, LISA approach, we can use as one of the effort to develop organic farming, because in this approach we use no or less commercial feed and no commercial fertilizer and pesticide, and also no antibiotic. From that effort, we hope we can improve the quality of pond production for food security and safety. And also we can produce healthier products from aquaculture. And also, I think this LISA concept is strategic way toward sustainable aquaculture. I want to explain the benefit of using organic fertilizer. We use two kinds of organic fertilizer, or for the first one we already know about compost, and the other fertilizer is liquid fermented fertilizer. We call it MOL or MLO. The acronym is Micro-Local Organism. By using organic fertilizer or compost, we try to maintain and improve pond bottom fertility, and also increase the water holding capacity of the ponds, and also improve the chemical and biological composition of the soil. And by adding liquid fermented fertilizer, we hope we can promote the increasing energy and minerals and also microorganisms to pond water, and then can stimulate the growth of natural feeds, and in the end increasing the recycling of stored and suspended organic matter. I want to talk a brief about liquid fermented fertilizer that we made from the material around the field. This liquid fermented fertilizer is the organic ingredients used are rejected fruits and vegetables. And then the content of microorganisms in the liquid compost we found from the research that we already done depends on the material that we use. This is a difference between fruits and vegetables that we use for making liquid fermented fertilizer. That's why we call that our liquid fermented fertilizer is a local microorganism, or LMO, or micro-local organism, or MLO, or in Bahasa we call it MOL, micro-local organism. Then next I want to explain the process of making MOL and the application for the brackish water aquaculture pond. We can use the veggies or rejected fruits. We need 10 kilograms of veggies such as cabbage, mustard green, kale, or etc. that you can find around your house or from the markets. And or we use fruits 10 kilogram also, such as dragon fruit, watermelon, and papaya. We can, and then after that we chops and then crush, or if it's just a small ingredient, we can blend it, then put in the clean container with lid. Then other ingredients that we use is sugar 1 kilogram, or molasses 1 liter, and then a yeast we need 4 pieces, and rice bran we need 1 kilogram, and pour the water until all the ingredients are submerged. Then we leave it for at least 10 days to let the fermentation process until they can use. This is the documentation when our farmers using the veggie around that farm that they can find around their farms. They chop it and then crush it until small pieces, and then taking to the container with lid. This is the step, the fermentation process during at least 10 days in the clean container with lid. First picture is the mixture of the veggies, and then for the second mixture, the ingredient with fruits, and then after 10 days, the result of fermentation. This is already can be used to the ponds to fertilize the pond water. We just collect the water or the liquid, and then we can directly stock them to the ponds or to the water in the pond. This is the composing bacteria composition in the MRO that we already studied before. We found that the fruits have all the type of bacteria that we need to culture the aquaculture species. From the fruits, the type of bacteria, there are phosphate solubilizing bacteria, and then they also contain nitrogen fixing bacteria, and then also fermented bacteria, probiotic, and antibiotic bacteria. For the vegetables that we use for making MLO, we just found 3 types of bacteria, which are phosphate solubilizing bacteria, nitrogen fixing bacteria, and probiotic bacteria. But when we have mixed or used both of vegetable and fruits for the liquid fermented fertilizer, we found 4 type bacteria. In the mix of vegetables and fruits, the fermented bacteria is not available. And then we also applied the MLO in the brackish water ponds and have a good result. The first farmer using the factory-made compost. He used 3 liters every week during first month of culture, and then reducing the using of the factory-made compost every day, applied every day to the his pond. He cultured meatfish and fanami shrimp, and although the production is higher than others, farmers who just using compost made by themselves, but after the calculation of the benefit of the selling the production species, we found that the revenue is higher for the farmers that only using the compost or liquid compost made by themselves or MLO. They use mostly the compost made from goat dung and straw, and also fermented rice bran and commercial feed. But for the using commercial feed that did by farmers, the e-farmers, the yield is already higher than other farmers that not giving the commercial feed for their cultivate. And then for the benefit that they get is higher than before they apply the liquid organic fertilizer. Before they applied this organic fertilizer, most of the farmers cannot harvest the fanami shrimp. They only culture only 1 until 1.5 months. Then the shrimp die or they cannot harvest because there is like stress or bacteria that contaminate the shrimp. This is the simple experiments doing by the farmers. They take the pond water sample from the non-LEISA ponds, the left-hand side, and the sample from the water from the MLO and compost ponds. From this observation, we can see the performance of organic matter in water and the pond bottom surface. The ponds that using liquid organic compost and liquid organic fertilizer and compost have a good bottom substrates and also clearer water transparency. The benefit of using micro-local organism, we can stimulate the recycling of organic waste in the ponds, and we can reducing the use of factory-made fertilizer. The price is also, when we calculate the price for buying the factory-made fertilizer and the cost for making the liquid organic fertilizer is nearly the same, but the using of both are different. For farmers that using factory-made fertilizer, they need that unorganic fertilizer higher and higher after periods that they've working with the ponds. And for the farmers that only using organic liquid fertilizer, they just use small amount of the organic liquid fertilizer for the pond, so it's more economic than using for than using factory-made fertilizer. Then we can try to stimulate the growth of natural food. That means we can reduce the use of commercial feed, because the natural food for the organism that we culture is already available in the ponds. By reducing the cost production, we try, or we hope we can have more benefit from the selling of the aquaculture product. And the important thing, we can produce organic product that is healthier for the human. For the detailed information, you can check in our reference. It's already studied together with our team relating with the liquid organic fertilizer. Thank you. Before I close my presentation, let's enjoy the video about the LEISA concept that already done together with our farmers.
Sejak tahun 50-an, terjadi peningkatan konsumsi protein dunia mencapai 150 ton per tahun. Hanya saja, perikanan tradisional tidak mampu memenuhi kebutuhan tersebut. Sejumlah upaya dilakukan untuk memenuhi permintaan konsumen, termasuk pengembangan budidaya perikanan. Perluasan budidaya perikanan yang ada terkesan tidak ramah lingkungan dan hanya mengejar produksi saja. Selain itu, membutuhkan input eksternal tinggi, biaya produksi tinggi, menjadi faktor penyakit, dan merusak habitat ekosistem mangrove. Kondisi ini sangat mengkhawatirkan, sehingga memunculkan gagasan baru bagaimana mengembangkan budidaya perikanan dengan input eksternal rendah. Pendekatan ini dikenal sebagai Low External Input Sustainable Agriculture atau LEISA. Konsep LEISA mengintegrasikan proses siklus hara, fiksasi nitrogen biologis, musuh alami ke dalam proses produksi perikanan yang juga memperhatikan kearifan lokal dan pelestarian lingkungan pesisir. Dengan kata lain, penerapan LEISA menjadi bagian sistem perikanan berkelanjutan. Kriteria yang harus diperhatikan dalam sistem LEISA yaitu kriteria ekologi, sosial, dan ekonomi. Kriteria ekologi yaitu menggunakan bahan organik yang seimbang, menggunakan sumber daya air yang efisien, dan mengoptimalkan fungsi mangrove. Kriteria sosial membangun kemandirian petambak, menjadi kearifan lokal, produk yang dihasilkan lebih sehat. Kriteria ekonomi, biaya produksi rendah, dan harga jual lebih tinggi, budidaya harus berkelanjutan. Teknik LEISA sudah diterapkan di tambak perikanan Demak, Jawa Tengah, dan Pangkep, Sulawesi Selatan. Hal yang paling pertama dilakukan adalah persiapan dan pengolahan lumpur tambak dengan pembajakan dan pengeringan. Hal ini bertujuan memperbaiki kondisi lumpur tambak, menghilangkan sumber penyakit, dan mengurai residu sisa budidaya sebelumnya. Setelah itu, dilakukan pemberian mol, mikroba pengurai dan pupuk kompos untuk mendukung pertumbuhan pakan alami. Ketika tambak siap, dilakukan penebaran benih udang atau bandeng dengan aklimatisasi lebih dahulu agar mengurai mengurangi kematian benih. Setelah itu, dilakukan proses pemeliharaan kondisi air tambak, pemberian pakan alami, dan pengontrolan pertumbuhan udang bandeng. Hal teknis yang dilakukan secara reguler. Pertama, melakukan pengujian kualitas fisik lumpur tambak, terutama komposisi lumpur dan bahan organik, kemampuan lumpur mengikat air dan dilalui oksigen yang menjadi dasar dosis pemberian pupuk organik. Kedua, analisa agroekosistem seperti pengukuran pH, suhu air, salinitas, kecerahan air, untuk memahami kondisi lingkungan yang dibutuhkan oleh udang bandeng. Melakukan pengukuran perkembangan berat, panjang, dan kehadiran penyakit udang bandeng untuk melihat hubungan kondisi lingkungan tambak terhadap pertumbuhan udang dan bandeng. Keempat, pembuatan mol, mikroba pengurai dari limbah rumah tangga yang akan digunakan untuk mengurai bahan organik dalam tambak, dan juga sebagai agen hayati melawan penyakit. Kelima, pembuatan kompos dari bahan lokal sebagai pakan alami dan penyedia nutrisi. Keenam, pembuatan pakan alami dari ikan yang memiliki nilai ekonomis rendah dan bahan lain sebagai penyedia nutrisi. Hal pendukung lain yang dilakukan adalah melakukan analisa laboratorium untuk melihat kualitas mol, kompos, pakan, dan kondisi udang dan bandeng. Kesimpulan penerapan LEISA di tambak. Penerapan sistem LEISA di budidaya perikanan mampu memenuhi kebutuhan nutrisi udang bandeng, meningkatkan ketahanan udang bandeng, menurunkan biaya produksi, mencegah kematian udang bandeng, meningkatkan produksi, mendukung perikanan berkelanjutan.
Thank you, Ibu Restiana W. Ariati. And please be note that you have already filled out the attendance form, because after that, we will share the materials and e-certificates by filling out the attendance form. And now, I would like to introduce our last speaker, Ibu Lestari Laksmi Widawati, Magister Science. After this, we're gonna have a discussion session. We will answer your question that you drop on chat box. So please to drop your question with the format names underscore your institution underscore who will answer your question and then your question. So now let me introduce Ibu Lestari Laksmi Widawati, Magister of Science. She is a lecturer in an Aquaculture Department, Faculty of Fisheries and Marine Sciences, Diponegoro University, Semarang, Central Java, Indonesia. Her area of expertise is in integrated multi-tropic aquaculture cultivation systems, and she is currently completing her doctoral studies at Diponegoro University with the theme Shrimp Cultivation with the Integrated Multi-Tropic Aquaculture IMTA system for sustainable production. Some of her experiences are in 2016 until 2019. She is directly involved in the project to design aquaculture to support mangrove restoration in Indonesia, PASMI, in collaboration with Wageningen University, funded by the NWO Woodrow Institute of Sciences, the Netherlands. Then in 2017 until 2019, she is the team members of the Monitoring Aquaculture Field School and associated Mangrove Aquaculture teams, collaborating with project building with Nature Indonesia, funded by Ecological, the Netherlands. So, dear participants, once again, this is the chance to you to drop your question, because after this explanation by Ibu Lestari, we will have discussion session. Ibu Lestari Alwidawati presentation is about integrated multi-tropic aquaculture, IMTA. Ibu, this 45 minutes is yours.
Thank you very much, Miss Elizabeth, for the time for me. Good morning, good afternoon, and even good evening for all of you, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to say thank you very much for the Archipelagic and Island States Forum, the UNDP, the committee, and for all the participants for joining this nice event in ecological technologies for ensuring sustainable aquaculture as a coastal zone management. As introduced by moderator, my name is Lestari Widowati, and you can call me my nickname Riri. I am proud to be here with all of you for sharing and discuss our knowledge in aquaculture. Please let me share our experience and knowledge about integrated multi-trophic aquaculture. Is my slide can be show properly on the slide on the computer? Okay, I would like to share this title with all of you about integrated multi-trophic aquaculture. Considering the current condition as a background, especially we have this condition in Central Java, Indonesia, since 2008, 2011 until 2020, that we are especially have a problem in found environmental degradation, such as highly organic matter, and this result in unsustainable shrimp production that you can see from the table. The production of the shrimp is unsustainable, proved by the up and down of the shrimp production. And one of the problem that we found is the highly content of organic material. When we take a look from the technology with supporting aquaculture production, we can see from the graph that traditional system is the majority of the technology that our farmers use. In addition, the number of aquaculture households is also dominated by the traditional fish farmers. Thus, according of the reason that I mentioned before, a technology for improving aquaculture production should be an environmental friendly technology to address the degradation environmental issue, and should be a simple or handy technology regarding the majority production of aquaculture comes from traditional system with traditional farmers. So let me introduce the integrated multi-trophic aquaculture, or we call it IMTA system. Based on some research that 100% of feed for shrimp and fish, only 25% converted to a biomass, while to 20% is an uneaten feed, and the 55% excreted by feces and urine. From this estimation, 70% of the feed given to our cultivation organism release to environment and contribute organic waste. This material need to be degraded for ecosystem balancing, which in this progress dissolve oxygen, nitrification bacteria, nitrification process is needed. However, when the nitrification process is not work completely, ammonia and nitrate will emerge in the water and dangerous for our organism, of course. To minimize this risk, IMTA system introduced an extractive organism. As you seen in this slide, seaweed is an autotroph organism that has a role to use organic component for their growth. Meanwhile, shellfish is an organic filter feeder organism who has role in using organic material for their growth. This is the main concept of IMTA. From this concept, we can summarize that the aim of IMTA is IMTA promotes economic and environmental sustainability by converting uneaten products and feed from the fat organism to harvestable product by reducing the organic waste. And also, it will be increasing the economic diversification from harvesting some products that we have in this system. Properly managed multi-tropic aquaculture accelerates growth without any adverse side effect. After we figure out the IMTA concept and the aim, we attribute the role of some organism in the IMTA system. As you've seen, we have many organisms can be cultured in the system as described on the slide. May I share our result of our research? This is an integrated shrimp culture with seaweed and mussel. We can see from the graph that there is a nutrient dynamic, or in this case, we have TOM, total organic matter, that significantly different between appropriate density of green mussel and seaweed. Moreover, can you see in the red shape, that seaweed in the lower density is the same effect with the control, that the content of a TOM is increasing by the time. But in the appropriate density, can you see in the circle green shape, green line, that seaweed and green mussel in appropriate density can reduce the total organic matter content in the water. Ladies and gentlemen, one of our results in our research is introducing tilapia, especially saline tilapia in brackish water IMTA system. This is to address the abundance of Vibrio bacteria, which harmful for shrimp culture. As a result, you can see from the slide that tilapia is more effective to reduce Vibrio bacteria instead of milkfish, because we are in a central Java province, usually use milkfish as a same organism cultivated together with shrimp. But with this fauna, we would like to introduce the tilapia because tilapia has ability as an inhibition zone for Vibrio bacteria. You can see from the slide that the inhibition zone for tilapia is 4.3 millimeter rather than 2.7 millimeter in milkfish. And we should be realized that without any organism, that this means that we don't have any mucus for inhibit the Vibrio bacteria. There is no inhibitor zone for the Vibrio bacteria. Thus, we can say tilapia is effective Vibrio inhibitor. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to share with you about the site selection, since the site selection is one of the key success to implement the IMTA. We should be looking for the right or nice location for implementing IMTA, since in the system, we should find a good location, a suitable location, not only for one organism, but for every organism in the IMTA system. In this table, we can see, we can take a look, the tolerance or range of every water quality parameter as described on physical, chemical, and biology. And then I would like to make a highlight for culturing the shellfish, and please give some more attention in looking location for shellfish, because we generally believe that shellfish is a filter feeder organism, so they absorb organic material as well as heavy metal content on the organic material. So for the site selection of shellfish, we have to found the not contaminated location with heavy metal. There is an illustration about how to find suitable location for IMTA. We can find the location for IMTA actually manually by together with the farmer looking for the location and then check the water quality over there, or we use a system information geographic for covering the large area, and we use the technology to select, to calculate the real nice selection for shrimp, green mussel, or seaweed, for example. For example, the blue one here is some suitable areas for shrimp. And the yellow one here is for shellfish, and the green one is for seaweed. So where should we apply our IMTA system? The suitable area for IMTA system is in the areas has a suitable condition for 3 of them in this example. You can see it in the star symbol. So we choose this location for our IMTA system. Ladies and gentlemen, we already have a nice suitable location for our system. And then what kind of organism we should cultivate? In IMTA, we can categorize the organism into some trophic levels based on their feeding habit or their food chain in the ecosystem. The autotroph organism, as we know, which is organism using the organic component take the first trophic level. We call it, this is a production. Can be microalgae, microalgae, macroalgae, and phytoplankton. And the herbivore, such as tilapia and milkfish, an organism consume the micro or macroalgae as well as phytoplankton or zooplankton, confirm their position in the second of trophic level. Meanwhile, in the higher position is carnivore organism, which is consume another small organism. For example, in this level, we are find our shrimp, blue swimming crab, and snapper, as well as the mud crab. Our honorable participants, then I would like to share with you another point of view to be considered in IMTA is seasonal calendar. Seasonal calendar is a time regarding the season. We have in Indonesia, we have two kind of season, dry season and wet season. It should be considered. And this is needed to be decide the time for stocking. Why is it needed? Because we shouldn't find the right time when we would like to stock the IMTA organism. So we have to decide the right time for stocking. This is related to the weather, and the condition of the weather will be result in the water quality. And as I mentioned before, some organism on the IMTA system need the tolerance of some water quality parameter, and also they have their adaptation, the adaptability of the organism on the water quality and the weather as well, and it will be result in the production or yield. This is an example on our country. In Indonesia, we have dry season and wet season. By the seasonal calendar for stocking, for example, the shrimp. Shrimp has a tolerance salinity around 20 or 25 ppm. And thus in March until May is the appropriate time for culturing, because in the end of the wet season and to the beginning of a dry season, we can find the nice environmental condition is adaptable for the shrimp growth. So we can manage when the suitable condition is fit to your season or your country, so we can create the seasonal calendar for stocking. And another question is what happens if we miss the time of the stocking? As can we see together in the slide that in the left right, in the left side, the organism cannot adapt the environmental condition. For example, the high salinity. So the left side, you see the milkfish is not growth optimally. And in the right side, you see our tilapia has a trouble with their skin, and it is occurrence of death, many of them. Ladies and gentlemen, now we would like to go to the cultivation method for IMTA. Generally believe that there are some methods for cultivate some organism in the IMTA system. For example, in this mussel culture, we know stick method and long line method. In this slide, mussel is cultured by stick method. Stick method use bamboo or wood stick to plug into substrate. And we need a net bag is tied into a bamboo pole in a position that is always submerged in the water at a low tide, because the green mussel cannot survive if they are exposed in the air in the long time. And we put spot in the net or in the net bag with stocking density around 50 individu every bag. So you see from the picture, this is the illustration, the above, the illustration how we apply the stick method, and in the below, this is our experiment in a Brebes district, Central Java province. The second method of culturing mussel is a long line method. In this method, we use pole for hanging the cultivated organism. 50 individu of green mussel is covered by net bag and then hanging in a pole as described in the picture. Since the green mussel needs a substrate for attached by their byssus, so we need like a pole or some substrate to be added for their byssus. And another method for culturing shellfish we have here is a blood cockle culture. And we know that blood cockle doesn't have a byssus like a green mussel. So we choose the broadcast method for culturing the blood cockle. Broadcast method culture is done by spread the organism in the pond. Due to the habit, the blood cockle is suitable for this method. And we should remain to have equal size for the cockle seed for reaching equally growth. Based on some research as well as our finding in the field, the density of blood cockle is 300 kg every hectare. And the stocking can be done after pond management that already mentioned by Buresti. And if we reach the water color nicely, become greenish water, that indicate that the sufficient abundance of a plankton for their feed. For production, a blood cockle can reach 4 until 5 times from initial weight. After we discuss about the mussel, we continue our discussing about the seaweed. We are here have a gracilaria, a culture with long line method. Also similar with some culture method with green mussel. In this side, we can see the long line method by putting the pole in our pond. We put 100 grams every culture and make 50 centimeter for every pole for the space. For economic and simple management point of view, the broadcast method is applied for seaweed. We just spread the seaweed in the pond, in the bottom of the pond, but you have to consider that we need a good quality of substrate. I mean, the substrate it's not can be too muddy, related by the lot of particle cover the seaweed, and then it will be disturbing the growth of the seaweed. Ladies and gentlemen, there is another organism that can culture in an IMTA system. In 2017, we introduced tilapia as one of IMTA organism, and we can stock directly to the pond, or we made a cage for the tilapia. This is the illustration for cage in a tilapia in a cage, just for easily for us while we are getting a sample to monitor their growth and give their feed. And tilapia has a role in a Vibrio inhibitor in the water, as I mentioned before. So we would like to introduce the saline tilapia to the farmer, replace the milkfish. And this is an example of culture tilapia with density 300 grams per meter square. And because we have a semi-intensive or even traditional, we just feed them with 2% of biomass every day. For resuming all of the slide I mentioned before, we have a table with organism, cultivation method, and stocking density. Where is the organism here is the shrimp, milkfish, seaweed, green cockle, green mussel, blood cockle, and tilapia, and also the cultivation method as well as the stocking density. I would like to say that we no need to culture all organism that I mentioned on this slide. We can choose what kind of organism that can related in our local potency and our water quality can be support their optimally growth. So for concluding, the IMTA is an environmentally friendly technology for sustainable production with zero waste concept. There are some concepts to be considered for success in IMTA system, such as site selection, selected organism, stocking density, seasonal calendar, and water quality management. And IMTA have benefit in both sustainable production for aquaculture and as well as the sustainable economic enhancement for farmers. And you can cite our reference here based on our result on this journal. And I would like to say our acknowledgement for the EcoShape Consortium with some of Indonesia and also Netherlands institution who supporting us to work with the project and share our result to another participant in another country. Finally, I would like to say thank you very much for your attention and enjoy the video that we have made to all of you.
Sebagai latar belakang, berkenaan dengan isu degradasi kualitas lingkungan, meliputi budaya udang intensif, polusi sampah, dan pabrik, diperlukan suatu teknologi untuk dikembangkan pada wilayah pesisir dengan tujuan berkelanjutan produksi dan peningkatan ekonomi masyarakat. Teknologi yang dikembangkan merupakan teknologi yang ramah lingkungan, meliputi tambak dan mangrove, dan dapat diterapkan oleh masyarakat pesisir yang mayoritas adalah petani tradisional. Berdasarkan alasan tersebut, teknologi yang dipilih untuk dikembangkan adalah sistem integrated multi-trophic aquaculture.
Yeah, Ibu Lestari, we will try once again to show the video because it's very, very important to us to know. And Ibu Lestari also explained so many things that really give us a benefit. So now, can we start the video again?
Yes, please.
Yes, while waiting the video, I would like to inform you once again. Oh, let's enjoy this video.
Berkenaan dengan isu degradasi kualitas lingkungan, meliputi budaya udang intensif, polusi sampah, dan pabrik, diperlukan suatu teknologi untuk dikembangkan pada wilayah pesisir dengan tujuan berkelanjutan produksi dan peningkatan ekonomi masyarakat. Teknologi yang dikembangkan merupakan teknologi yang ramah lingkungan, meliputi tambak dan mangrove, dan dapat diterapkan oleh masyarakat pesisir yang mayoritas adalah petani tradisional. Berdasarkan alasan tersebut, teknologi yang dipilih untuk dikembangkan adalah Sistem Integrated Multi-Trophic Aquaculture atau IMTA. IMTA merupakan teknologi sederhana yang dapat diterapkan berdasarkan potensi yang ada. Integrated Multi-Trophic Aquaculture atau IMTA adalah cara budidaya dengan pendekatan ekologis menggunakan organisme berdasarkan tropik level atau rantai makanan dalam suatu ekosistem. Terdapat urutan makan-memakan antara anggota ekosistem yang dinamakan rantai makanan. Berdasarkan rantai makanan ini, organisme dibagi ke dalam tropik level, di mana tropik level yang rendah adalah organisme pada rantai makanan yang paling awal, sedangkan tropik level tertinggi adalah organisme dengan rantai makanan paling atas. Konsep dari IMTA adalah melakukan budidaya tanpa menambah limbah ke lingkungan. Berdasarkan beberapa penelitian, 100% pakan yang diberikan kepada udang bukan hanya 25% yang dikonversi menjadi biomas, sedangkan 20% merupakan pakan yang tidak termakan dan 55% diekskresikan. Sehingga 75% dari pakan yang diberikan akan berkontribusi terhadap meningkatnya limbah organik. Untuk memanfaatkan limbah organik ini, ekstraksi organisme seperti kegerangan dan rumput laut ditambahkan ke dalam ekosistem. Kegerangan akan memanfaatkan bahan-bahan organik, rumput laut akan memanfaatkan bahan-bahan anorganik, sehingga terbentuk zero waste system atau sistem tanpa limbah. Manfaat yang diperoleh dari IMTA adalah: pertama, budidaya yang ramah lingkungan dan berkelanjutan. Kedua, meningkatkan pendapatan petambak tradisional.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Now I would like to invite you to put your questions in our question and answer box. Using this format, name underscore your institution underscore question to underscore your questions. And now it's time to discussion session. Okay. First of all, I would like to asking Professor Sri Rejeki, because there are so many questions from the participants that really interest what with this event. Wait, is there any interesting question, Professor Sri Rejeki, that you are already answered from the participants? Can you further elaborate your question, your answer, Ibu? Like this question, what types of mangrove can be used in the AMA system, and how effective is the AMA system in ponds to overcome the impact of tidal flooding and abrasion on ponds? from Muklisul Amal.
Okay, I answer directly. Thank you for the questions. Yes, thank you for the questions. And most, actually, the best mangrove for AMA is Avicennia. But this Avicennia species maybe cannot grow in all of the, I mean, every, can you hear me? Yes, can you hear me? Yeah, okay. Avicennia is the best, but maybe not part of the area can grow Avicennia. So why Avicennia? Because their roots are good in sediment trapping, and their leaves are low in tannin content and more nutritious for pond. I mean, it's more, when it is degraded, it is more nutritious for the pond. So in this case, is according to the research done by some researchers, one of which is Restiana and also Islam from Bangladesh. I mentioned in my paper in my PPT in the presentations. This Avicennia is the best mangrove for AMA concern. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibu. And now we're going to the next question from Cyril Rahman for Professor Sri Rejeki. Once again, before we move into the next speaker, Professor, have you considered the rate of the wind in the chosen area? Example, some places are very windy than other places. Would you still prefer planting mangroves?
Yes. Actually, for AMA concept, according to building with nature, the mangroves should be grown naturally, not by planting. So in the area that are windy, usually the coastal area is mostly windy. So if it is so, it is windy, and there is a current carrying the seeds of the mangrove, it usually can be grown when the soil are suitable. So I think in some area that is windy and the soil is suitable, AMA concept can be applied. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Then I will move to Ibu Resti. Ibu Resti, are you with me? Hello, Ibu Resti.
Yes.
Ibu Restiana. Yes. The question is, it appears that LASA could only be applied to small-scale farming. Do you think that this could be on a large scale? Many thanks for your presentation, Ibu Resti.
Yeah. Thank you for the nice question. We already applied for LASA concept, not only for brackish-water aquaculture, but also in the freshwater aquaculture. And also to promote the resilience of the family in the urban area. They can use the backyard to culture the fish in the plastic buckets, the large plastic buckets, and use their waste from the trash bin from the family household waste, and to make a liquid compost and feed or nutritious for the water that as a media for the fish culture. I think LASA concept can be applied both in the large area or in the small area or the limited area. I think we can still apply for the LAISA concept.
Okay, thank you, Ibu Restiana. Well answered that it can be used in the large area. And the interesting things in this discussion session, you can give feedback or response about the answer that answered by our speakers by click raise hand, and I will call your name, then allow you to speak. The next question still for Ibu Resti, and also Ibu Lestari join us here. Yeah, Ibu Resti, I have two questions for Mrs. Restiana. First, I would like to say what a great initiative to help farmers with growing income in sustainable way using organic resources. My question is on micro-local organism. Can this be done at home by making artificial ponds in our garden to farm small fishes like tilapia and shrimps, or does it need to be part of a water source like near the rivers or coastal area? That is the first question. And the next one is, what is the fourth ingredients in the other ingredients column for the process of making MLO? Oh, looks like everyone is really interested with this ball. Please, Ibu Resti.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Maybe I forget to mention in my presentation, so the participant reminds me through their question. Thank you. I would like to answer the question one by one. Yeah, we can thrive in the small or in the limited area. We also teach the woman or ibu rumah tangga, the housewife, how to culture the fish and vegetables in the backyard, in their home backyard. We use a plastic bucket culture with tilapia or catfish, and then also we plant like spinach or others plant that we consume every day, and also we use we make local microorganism by using the trace of from their kitchen. I think it can be applied not for the fish farmer in the coastal area, but also for the others who have limited area. I think we can apply LAISA. Also in the farming system, we call it Mina Padi. So we culture paddy in the paddy field together with the fish. Usually we culture tilapia in the sawah, in the rice field. Yeah, we have technology for culture that kind of concept of LAISA. And then for the next question, can you repeat it again?
Yeah, the next question is about the ingredients, Ibu. The ingredients, the fourth ingredients in the other ingredients column for the process of making malt.
Yeah, I will check. Yeah, the four is we can use water, fresh water, clean water, or normal water, just to make all the ingredients that already we put in the container submerged. So the yeast, the bacteria that come from the yeast can work in the media made from the liquid, and also they can utilize the molasses and sugar for their growth, for the bacteria growth. So the fourth ingredient is just water, normal water.
Okay, thank you, Ibu Resti. Maybe some of you have tried this at your home or anywhere. Then you will share your experience about this, about microorganism. You also can respond this discussion kindly to raise your hand, and we will unmute your microphone because you cannot unmute your own microphone. So you can raise hand, then I will call your name and be ready because we will unmute your microphone. Oh, thank you so much to Temi Tope Oyedotun. The presentation are great, educative, and enlightening. Many thanks to all the researchers and presenters. Many thanks, please. Okay. Thank you so much for attending this training. And the next question is for Ibu Riri from Mina SPC. Considering IMTA is labor intensive and a lot of trial and error is required as various species are simultaneously cultured, would the benefit outweigh the cost of running the farm? Ibu Riri.
Thank you for the question for Minal Narayan. My regards from you from Indonesia. Yes, you're right that we have a trial for the various species and IMTA system, but in the field, you may not have a very complicated as in a theory that I share you in the slide. First of all, we can discuss with our farmer what kind of organism that we can apply on their pond. Maybe only 2 or 3 organisms is fine. And about the some errors, yeah, we also have the unsuccess IMTA story with the farmers, but for example, when we have a very high salinity related with the second question by the Stephen Simon, and also we have the main problem with the very high tide, but here because we apply this IMTA system in the traditional method or in the little bit higher in the semi-intensive method. So we no need to have a lot of feed on this cultivation. The cost will be only for the seed itself. So for the feeding, we can minimize and also combine with the LESA system supported by our teams, as mentioned by Bu Resti, and we have a nice mangrove green belt in our pond, so the natural feed can be supplied by naturally by the environment. So we minimize the number of feed here, and our experience that in a IMTA, where is the some errors when we are applied it, we still have a green mussel, for example, still on our pond, and also the blood cockle as well, still our pond when we have a floating. And for the high salinity, both of these cockle, both of the shellfish still can adapt. The higher salinity, it is more than 45 something, yeah, Prof. Sri and Puresti on the time, but our cockle is still can be survive, and they are not need more food, and we still have some kilograms or some quintals for harvesting as a farmer income. Thank you, Bu Elizabeth.
Thank you, Bu Riri. I think Ibu Elizabeth is having a blackout at the moment, so I shall carry on the question and answer sessions. So probably the next question for you is from, I think this is the question for everyone. So the next question will be from one of our colleagues in Fiji. So he's saying that we're having a blue economic concept in Fiji where we utilize the river and the sea as well. Can we further elaborate to establish similar concept here in one of the Fiji community? What do you think? Probably we can start from Prof. Sri Rejeki.
Yes, thank you. Hi. Yes, as I mentioned, the concept, for example, AMA concept can be applied everywhere in the world. Which have the same problem as in our study area. So the area which have abrasion, have subsidence, and also coastal area, of course, because this ice is most coastal areas than land area, I think. So it can be applied anywhere in the world. It has the same problem. And also, maybe I also want to add for the Prestige and Release answer, LESA and AMA also can be applied everywhere in the world. That is the important things that we have. Our team here from UNDIP, we are asked to share our knowledge, our research result to all of you, not only for Indonesians, but also for all over the world which have similar problem with us. Thank you. That is my answer. Maybe Resti and Lily can continue, please.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Sri Rejeki. Maybe Ibu Riri or Ibu Resti will give the response, or maybe our participant from Fiji will also give any feedback or response, so we can know what is the problem there and what we can do together in Fiji. Yeah. Is there any participant from Fiji here? And while waiting, I will asking the next question to Prof. Sri Rejeki, Ibu Restiana, and also Ibu Riri from TA. The question is, can I ask what feeds are used in the experiments as mentioned in the video plus presentation, and how to make the feeds using locally available products, please? Ibu Resti or Ibu Riri first?
Yes, Bu Riri, you can mention. So, yes, okay, I'll take over. Okay, so for the feed that are given to the shrimp or the fish in our system in LESA or INTA, in LESA, there is no feed given. But in INTA, it can be said it is a semi-intensive culture. We gave a very small amount of the pelleted diet or pelleted diet or artificial diet. It is only for about 2% of the biomass, just for surviving the shrimps. And then, and as Riris mentioned before, that the feeds, all of the feeds, mostly only become the biomass is only 20%. The rest are become the waste, uneaten food, and then the feces, then contribute to the water for the feeding of other species in INTA cultivations. So it's really small amount of it, and locally feeding the farmers that we are in our study area, they make their own pellet, so not fabricant. So the composition is almost the same, just using fish meal and soybeans, but mostly they don't use the feed. Maybe Riri can add, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Elisa, for the question. For the locally production, that the question is, isn't it? Yeah. So for the locally production, because we are encourage the farmer to optimally the local production that they have. Previously, before we introducing the IMTA, the farmers already have the seaweed, for example, and the green mussel, and also the blood cockle on their environment. But they just abandon, or maybe just not realize that all of organism can be cultured and can be harvested to enhance their income. So after we introduce the system together with LEISA, that we know that extractive organism here is no need of feed for their growth. The feed is supported by the microorganism local already in the water column. So the farmer realized that actually we have the potential, the organism potential for harvested instead of their main organism such as shrimp or milkfish. So then have another uh, various different diversification product regarding their own potential, local potential. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibu Riri. Before Ibu Resti will add some information about this, or some answer, I will invite the participants, Palawish from Fiji, European Commission Climate PACT Ambassador. Palawish, please kindly open your cameras, and we will help to unmute your microphone so you can give your feedback and response for the answer of our three speakers. Hello, Palawish. Palawish Kumar from Fiji.
Hi, can you hear me? Am I audible?
Hi, Palawish.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you guys for having me here. Well, the presentation was very wonderful. The speakers were perfect, superb presentation, I would say. When we talk about ensuring sustainable aquaculture as a coastal zone management, like in Fiji at this very moment, we are facing climate change. My topic always focuses on climate change, as I am European Union Climate Pact Ambassador. So the main problem for Fiji in terms of sustainable aquaculture in coastal areas are that people are not trying. So I think during this training and talking about technologies, ecological, I think it's a very good platform that people know about what is going on and how we can have, or how we can rather ensure that we have a sustainable community in terms of coastal management, because more than 11 villages, corals, I would say, has been relocated due to global warming, climate change, and because of coastal management as well. So the presentation was very wonderful, and we hope to learn quite a lot from here. And well, what I believe is basically people should do from their own perspective. like they should be strong, they should know what they are doing. And in order to prevent everything, like we need to ensure that we have a sustainable community environment, talking about SDG goals. So my uh, uh, I would, in my closing statement, I would like to say that, like, it is very useful that we should train everyone, not just the ambassadors, activists, or rather, I could say, uh, environmentalists. Like, we should train everyone who is currently ensuring that we need a sustainable environment, because the generation is moving, and we are the generation, as a youth generation, we are the people who is going to suffer from it. So I think let's act now and act together towards this good cause, and we can achieve everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Palawis. We hope so. Palawis Kumar from Fiji. Maybe Ibu Riri or Ibu Resti have a relatable experience with the problems that Palawis faces.
Mm. Thank you, Mr. Palawis Kumar, for the feedback and also for the question. Yeah, that's true. We should share our knowledge for all the people around us. And what we did is based on the condition in the field that the farmers, small farmers or traditional farmers that have impact from the land subsidence and also for the sea flooding, and they loss of their ponds, but not really lost. They still have the pond, but they cannot use it. It just abandoned it because the dike is already broken, or in the a certain season they have a high tide, so they can culture the milkfish or shrimp. Our farmers just know that they just culture shrimp on or milkfish in their pond, but they don't know how to culture the other species. So start from that condition, we try to teach our farmers how to utilize the condition that already suffering from the climate change, but they should or they must be have an income for their livelihood. So we teach with the simple technology, ecologically friendly technology. They can using the resources from around their house, and also we teach how to choose the best method to culture other species such mussel, green mussel, or blood cockle that two species did not go everywhere when we have high tide. Yeah, based on that, we give an understanding for the farmers. We can survive by ourselves by using the condition that still available for us, not asking for the help from the government that maybe it can be profit for them. And yeah, we give our knowledge, we share our knowledge because because we see the condition in the field, especially for the traditional farmers. Yeah, I hope they can improve their resilience to face or for the and to continue their life with the limited condition. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ibu Restiana. Wise men say that there's a blessing in disguise. Yes, we now faces pandemic, a very tough pandemic. But the good things is we can still share our knowledge by the Zoom webinar like this. So from anywhere you are now, you can share your knowledge. We can share our knowledge, so we can share the problems and the solution, of course. And we truly hope that this pandemic can pass super soon. So now I'm gonna invite our friends, participants, Miriam Madigi Buli, that will give feedback or response. Miriam, please to open your camera. And yeah.
Hello.
Hello, Miriam.
Hi. Good afternoon. It's from my side of the world here in Fiji. I'd like to thank the presenters for their presentation. It was very insightful and very informative. I'd like to share something relating to one of the questions above mentioned by Choe Livaro about the blue concept here in Fiji. I believe this concept can be done here in our country. I think so. We just need the right funding and also manpower to create the AMA, LISA, and EMAT concepts. Also, that will require a lot of desktop studies and areas of interest for the projects, like location. And also very important, the communication with the local communities, more awareness programs, but definitely respecting the traditional knowledge, because here in Fiji, we are affected by the second wave of coronavirus. So that has put a lot of our brothers and sisters out of jobs. So it has put more pressure on our natural resources as a lot of us return back to the village to look, so they depend on the food security that they have on the natural resources. So if these concepts are implemented back in the villages, I think it creates a good food security for the future generation. And yeah, so I'd like to thank the AIS Forum for the opportunity for having this training done. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Miriam. Yes, we really love that these topics, integrated topics, can be used in many countries, like the 13 AIS countries: Indonesia, Fiji, Solomon Island, Madagascar, Guyana, Samoa, Vanuatu, United Kingdom, Trinidad, Tobago, Bahamas, Sri Lanka, Haiti, and Papua New Guinea. So the aim is for the food security start from the village. Ibu Professor Sri Rejeki, maybe you want to give some insight about back to village and secure the food, secure the coastal area.
Yeah, thank you, Lisbeth. Yes, as mentioned by Mr. Palavis, also with the second commenter from the Fiji. Yes, this is a very good idea, very good concept for implementing anywhere in the world with the same problem like in our study area, as I mentioned. That the good things is the farmers, the local farmers, wherever they are, they can use local resources, yeah, to promote the growth of their cultivations. No need to go anywhere, to go somewhere to collect materials, just whatever available in the surrounding in the village. So they can use it for a compost, for a more local microorganisms. This is very easy. I mean, everybody can do it. So it's really good. AIS have a good what do you call it? A good idea or good program to ask us to share our knowledge to everywhere in the AIS countries. And once again, I want to explain that as Resti already mentioned, for making molds, we can also provide 3R. Yeah, we can choose the organic waste such as uneaten food or uneaten vegetables. This is maybe just they will throw it away, but we can use it for making mold. So by reducing the organic waste, we can improve the environment. And then we reduce it what for? For reuse. So for being used as organic fertilizer. Then we use it for recycle, for the pond, for growing the natural feed in the pond. So this concept is really help for especially for the artisanal or for the traditional pond farmers, which are very poor in technology, so they can adapt this concept very easily by giving them extension work with the villages. For example, like in Indonesia, we have extension workers, but our team, go to the field to do the extension work, and almost every month, almost monthly, we go to the field to monitor their progress. And also, we have a field school. It consists of a group of farmers, and these field schools also depend on the situation in their area, and they call us to give the lessons or knowledge about good aquaculture practice and also this concept. So it is really, really helpful for the people, for the pond farmers who have a very small investment or very lack of investment. So in this case, we hope that the traditional pond farmers can improve their yield and then also can improve their income. So if we talk about intensive, they don't need anything. If when they, maybe the intensive pond farmers, they produce more pollutant because of the effluent from the intensive farming with content organic matter, as mentioned by Riri. It's my comment by Elizabeth. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry if my English is not difficult to understand.
I thought that everyone is understand what Professor Sri Rejeki said. Yeah. Wow. The ingredients is around us and it's good to our environment. So the next question, this is the follow-up question coming up from Stephen. Maybe the three of our speakers can answer. Genetically modified organism or GMO have been under major debate today across the globe, looking at its pro-contras. And from the study, is it fine to, or has there been any incentive to integrate organic or traditional aquaculture farming with this GMO for increased aquacultural production? Sorry if my question is out of discussion, but I think that our speakers can answer this question from Stephen, please.
First, really, Resti? Okay, they let us me to answer the question. Fortunately, yes, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much for the question. Fortunately, it is the GNO organism, genetic improvement organism, is not introduced in our concept. In our concepts, like in Indonesia, I mentioned that we suggest the farmers for the shrimp to use tiger shrimp, northern shrimp, which is an indigenous species of Indonesia. it is more expensive, more delicious, and also what can you say is environmentally friendly to be cultured in this concept. So, for example, for Fiji or for somewhere else in the world, maybe you have your own indigenous species, which is commonly cultured and also can make more income for the farmers as well as for the country. This is for shrimp. For the fish, milkfish also indigenous species for Indonesia. So we don't use any genetic improvement or GNO as you mentioned. And for tilapia, we use red tilapia or salad tilapia. It is not a genetic improvement by transgenic or something like that, but it is only for improvement by breeding, by crossbreeding. Yeah, crossbreeding of good quality tilapia until it becomes red tilapia, and then we adapt it to saline water. Tilapia is a freshwater species. Yeah, then or nila or tilapia, saline tilapia. Yeah, it is a freshwater fish, but then we introduce it to the British water pond by adaptation. By adaptation to saline water gradually. So it is really very easy by the traditional farmers. And these species that are introduced for IMTA, for culture in the Amapon by ELISA concept, all are organisms that are grown in our country, wherever it is important economic valuable species that you can culture it. So for genetic improvement or NGO, GNO, this is most maybe the very expensive one that we will have to culture, and it is, I think it's not appropriate for the traditional corn farmers. Maybe Resti and Riri want to add, please?
Yeah, very well answered by Professor Sri Rejeki. It's like Mama knows anything. Mama can handle everything.
Resti will add, please.
Ibu Riri, please, maybe you will add some answer.
Yeah. Saya, Bu.
Yes, please.
Suaranya dulu.
Yeah, we can hear your voice, Ibu.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for the nice question. Sudah. Thank you for the nice question. Yeah, there is another point of view from me itself. Yeah, for using the genetical improvement for applying in an IMTA system or in our traditional system. As Bu Sri mentioned before, that we don't have any experience to using the any genetical improvement, but in our future point of view, maybe we can as far as the genetic improvement is safe. For example, we do not use a hormone for growing faster, for the booster. So it will be not safe maybe for the human consume. As far as we just have a crossbreeding as a tilapia that we have. So we found the new species that is can adapt in the saline water, for example, with the saline tilapia. I think it can be adaptable for applying in the IMTA system, as well as we have some species for the seaweed. For example, we have Gracilaria in a brackish water, and we have Echemacotoni in marine water, and another species maybe can we made it in kultur jaringan. tissue culture maybe. So the kind of species will be more adaptive with the highest salinity that all of our participants realize about that we have a climate change. So maybe the genetical improvement is one of the answering idea for address the climate change for the higher temperature and then the higher salinity or something like that. But I'm sorry we don't have any experience on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibu Riri. This is the last question. Thank you to all the presenters. Great to hear the recent sustainable aquaculture development in places like Indonesia. This question maybe is for Professor Sri Rejeki once again. We have done extensive mangrove restoration in Fiji with more focus on climate adaptation initiative. Sometimes community direct benefits seems to be not top of the agenda. So I am not sure if you have done any specific research regarding relationships between certain mangrove species against some aquaculture species, recruitment or behavioral changes. This is especially for mud crabs. Please, Ibu.
Yes, thank you for the questions or the comment. Therefore, extensive mangrove. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. For the extensive mangrove restoration, we also here in our study area, the mangroves is already grown very good, and we proposed for mangrove crab. We do not culture it like in a artificial cage. I mean, in a cage in the pond, but just let the crabs grow on the wild. And then, for aquaculture point of view, we can make like a crab sanctuary. Yeah, so just make the like a cage. Yes, that is made from a net or from a bamboo surrounding the mangrove. The mangrove can move easily anywhere, and then the people surrounding the area can harvest the crab, but not the female crab, which are very female. So let the people collect the crab, but only the marketable size crab, especially for the male crab, not the female crab, that the buried female, because it also for conservation, I mean for the sustainability for the mangrove crab to live. But unfortunately, people like eating the buried female crab, which is the price is more expensive. That we have to consider that if you, for example, they harvest or they capture 5 female buried crab, just release 2 or 3 to let them regenerate or spawn their eggs naturally. Otherwise, if you can collect everything, all the crabs, it is difficult, because in the conservation extensive mangrove restoration, this is the main purpose, not only for coastal protections, but also for ensuring the life or the sustainability of the mangrove crab. Also, all of the valuable aquatic marine species, larvae that are moving to the mangrove ecosystem for feeding. That's why I told you that for the mangrove ecosystem is the spawning ground, feeding ground, as well as the nursery ground for the specially economic important species. I hope it's answered the question.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Sri Rejeki. And thank you also for your active participation on this discussion session. What a very dynamic Q&A session. And before we close this training, all speakers will deliver wrap-up statement and follow-up about each training topics. First of all, Ibu Professor Dr. Sri Rejeki, please to share your wrap-up statement.
Say again, please. I couldn't hear you. Okay.
Yeah, to close this discussion and also to close this event, please deliver your wrap-up statement. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity that you gave it to me. First of all, I would like to thank for the AIS for Pak Ahmad, AIS of Indonesia, that give us an opportunity to share our knowledge, and hopefully all the participants country can adapt our knowledge that already shared, and hopefully in one day, and there will also another training for them, and we are ready for join for as a participant, also for a speaker, for example. Thank you very much again for AIS and also for all the participants to join this training. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Sri Rejeki. And now, Ibu Restiana Wisnu Ariyanti, Magister of Science, please.
Thank you for AIS that give an opportunity to us for sharing our knowledge. I hope it's useful and some people can get benefit from this. If any question that I haven't answered yet, please don't hesitate to send an email to me. Maybe we can help in a certain way, and maybe we can share each other for the challenge and also for the opportunity to solve the problem around our environment. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibu Restiana. And last but not least, Ibu Lestari Laksmi Widowati, Magister of Science, please.
Thank you, Mbak Elizabeth, for the time. As mentioned by Prof. Sri and Bu Restiana, I would like to say thank you with all of the committee that have a hard work for to be an host of this very nice webinar. It is our experience to share the result of our research together with a lot of participants from 18 countries, if I don't have a mistaken. On my point of view, the take-home message that we can have, we have also the nice feedback from the discussion. For example, from the AMA session, we have also the village relocated regarding the climate change. It is really happened also here in Indonesia. We have 2 villages relocated in our project that we mentioned in our acknowledgement, that we have really 2 villages should be relocated because of the climate change and the land subsidence already mentioned by Bu Resti. And from the LESA point of view, we have also the take-home message from the feedback for our teams, that the potential resources from our surrounding, it is have as more benefit. And from the IMTA session, I got that the GNO, genetically improvement organism, maybe in the future, what do you call it? The future proposed for applied in the traditional, even in the traditional pond, as long as the improvement is not harm for the food consumption. And thank you for the time and the nice sharing with all the participants.
Thank you, Professor Sri, Ibu Restian, and also Ibu Riri. We finally came to the end of this training on ecological technologies for ensuring sustainable aquaculture as a coastal zone management. We truly do hope you have enjoyed this training and moreover have had a good learning experience. More than that, we are looking forward to work together with all today's participants who came from 13 AIS countries: Indonesia, Fiji, Solomon Islands, Madagascar, Guyana, Samoa, Vanuatu, United Kingdom, Trinidad and Tobago, Bahamas, Sri Lanka, Haiti, also Papua, New Guinea. We can implement the associated mangrove aquaculture, low internal input sustainable aquaculture, and integrated multi-trophic aquaculture as the way for ensuring the sustainable aquaculture as a coastal zone management in our respective country. And I am Elizabeth Sudira on behalf of Archipelagic and Island States Forum Secretariat UNTP Indonesia in collaboration with the Faculty of Fisheries and Marine Science Universitas Diponegoro would like to send our gratitude to all speakers, Ibu Professor Sri Rejeki, Ibu Restianti, and Ibu Riri that have been willing to share. And thanks to all participants who join us this morning. Stay safe and goodbye. Have a nice day.
The Archipelagic and Island States Forum is a platform designed to facilitate 47 archipelagic and island nations to collaborate and cooperate in addressing common challenges in 4 thematic areas: climate change mitigation and adaptation, blue economy, marine plastic debris, and good maritime governance. In 2017, the idea to establish the multinational cooperation framework among the archipelagic and island states was first iterated during the UN Ocean Conference in New York. In November 2018, Indonesia hosted the first ministerial meeting with 21 archipelagic and island states. The Archipelagic and Island States Forum was established by Manado Joint Declaration. In the following year, the second ministerial meeting adopted the final outcome with 25 AIS participating countries. To achieve our vision, we focus on 4 objectives which we translate into our programs. Create an open, innovative, and engaging forum, provide a space to share and implement innovative and tangible programs, promote collaborative efforts among stakeholders, and create opportunity through the blue economy. Ideation, implementation, and evaluation are the core elements to our solution framework in addressing the problems. In 2020, AIS Forum launched programs to drive innovation, which are AIS Joint Research, a collaborative applied research program affiliated with academic institutions in AIS countries with various topics related to the 4 areas of collaboration. The Innovator Scholarship Program, a fully funded exchange program for talented individuals from AIS participating countries who can demonstrate exceptional leadership quality and creative mind, and AIS Innovation Challenge, to find innovative ideas and breakthroughs that can help societies and businesses to be more resilient and adaptive during crisis situations. AIS Forum also launched AIS Blue Startup Hub, a platform to connect marine-focused startup in 47 archipelagic and island states across the globe AIS Blue Startup Hub Mentoring Program was launched with 18 participating startups from 6 countries. As an effort to realize the smart, innovative solutions, AIS Forum also engaged with public audiences through online events in a form of trainings, workshops, talk shows, and discussions with various topics and stakeholders across AIS participating countries. In light of COVID-19 pandemic, it is important for archipelagic and island states to have a resilient economy. Therefore, AIS Forum Secretariat introduces programs which focuses on blue economy. As a form of its commitment, AIS Forum developed Blue Economy Development Index, or BEDI. This index will be used as a tracking tool to determine the current use of coastal and marine resources, and it can be used as a tool to meet the Sustainable Development Goals. Blue Financing Framework, or BFF, which provides a guidance for governments, financial institutions, philanthropists, and donors to align their investments with the blue economy principles and allow them to select a project to be financed in the blue economy sectors. Smart and innovative solution programs, such as sharing knowledge sessions with experts and representatives from AIS participating countries. Plankton, which was a competition to raise awareness in reducing marine plastic debris. Impact pitching, which connects startups, small and medium-sized enterprises, potential investors, and growth enablers to gain partnership. And Ending Plastic Pollution Innovation Challenge, which was a collaboration with Marine Plastic Debris Project from UNDP Indonesia to address marine plastic pollution in Southeast Asia. Many solutions to challenges that affect AIS participating countries in 4 main thematic areas and SDG 14 goals are produced through collaboration programs. These programs will explore opportunities through innovation and experiment that benefits on a local, regional, and international scale through sharing knowledge and experiences between AIS participating countries.